Hola, 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 Bafetu. Welcome back, welcome back. Another game, another loss, another disappointment. Kaizer Chiefs 1, Cape Town City 2. And yeah, man, 4 losses on the row and 3 losses for Coach Arthur since they've taken over with Dylan Shepard. And disappointing results, very, very disappointing results. Also disappointing performance, very frustrating performance from Kaizer Chiefs in the first half. Kaizer Chiefs didn't look like a team that will score, a team that knows what they are doing, a team that has a plan, especially on the final third of the pitch. Wouldn't look like we know what we're trying to do. There's lack of rhythm in terms of movement when we have the ball, especially when we are attacking, when we are just in front of the box of Cape Town City. There's no movement at all. There's just no movement, no understanding, no coordination. There's no combinations between the players. Dolly looks lost. It looks like he's isolated. He's no longer, in the Dolly that we know, especially under Stuart Baxter. He was much better Dolly under Stuart Baxter because he could, he played on the right, he could cut in and take those shots. But when he's placed on the left, he looks very, very. When he's placed on the left, it doesn't look convincing, Dolly. Especially even when Billiard is placed on the right, when it doesn't cut in, doesn't look impressive at all. There is no movement. Leonardo Castro is a slow guy, and there's no movement up front, man. Especially in the first half, Machine gave the ball so easily, so easily. You can see that he's a good player. You can see that given game time, he gains and confidence and experience in the game, and match fitness. He's a much more better player. That's why this Machine playing under Athazwane today is not the same as Machine that played under Athazwane or coach Gavin Hunt last season, because last season he had a lot of game time. He was in rhythm. You could see that he could make things happen, but this time around he can't receive the ball in tight spaces. He can't, take on that one man and make that incisive pass. He loses the ball so easily, and his body language is just not showing, the kind of drive that we know him for. And man, it was bad, man. A lot of players had a bad game. Blom had a very, very bad game. I think this game was his worst game, Blom. Going forward, Blom was terrible, man. Was terrible. When there's a space to attack, he doesn't attack the space. He stands. I don't know whether he wants to defend when the ball is ours. Even when Terence Mashiko gives him space to run into, he doesn't run into that space. He looks like he's scared. When he runs into the space, when he has the ball, his crosses are very, very poor. Very poor, slow, poor, not in time. They're easily blocked, and yeah, man, his body language, Njabulo Blom, was very terrible this game. Um, also, I mentioned Dole. I think the only player that was better is Billiard. Only player that's better in terms of movement, holding on to the ball, making runs. Billiard is the only player that looks like is better in the first half. Even in the first half of the second half, in the first period of the second half, Dole looked like he's the only player that looked better defensively. Very, 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 very questionable. Very questionable. The only player that I can mention as positives is Siabongangezana. Is the only guy that looked like is stable in that defense. He knows what he's doing. He's confident. He doesn't have a problem. He also goes for the ball. He challenges the ball, and he plays the ball. He tries to play forward. Blom was bad. Frosla, I don't know. I don't know really. I don't know what was how. And defensively was okay, but with the ball, I think Frosta just didn't give us anything. I don't want to speak about Cardoso in this video. We can't complain about Cardoso for the past 3 years, 4 years as a defender. He's 33, 34. He's getting bad and bad and bad and bad. When we say wine, matures with time, I think with Cardoso is the opposite. With time, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And he's the guy that we don't need in Kaizer Chiefs. Like we said, in the last game that he made a mistake with the ball. It was not a defensive mistake. That is what is positive about the mistake. Kanjabulung was overconfidence. That he was overconfident and he wanted to play the ball. He wanted to do the right thing. Made a mistake doing the right thing. With Cardoso is a defensive mistake. A defensive mistake that happens every day. Signature of Cardoso. Either he allows the ball to pass him. Why doesn't he hit the ball in the first place? I mean, the first goal, why doesn't he clear the ball? Why does he wants to allow it to pass? He's always done this. He has always done this season after season after season, game after game after game. And then a bad pass that is weak doesn't arrive to the keeper. And the keeper's communication as well is one of the guys that had a bad game. Brandon Petersen had a bad game. I think this is his second bad game. Petersen can't command his defensive line. He can communicate, and the defensive mistakes also can be accrued to the keeper, because if the keeper is not good in communication, the defenders don't know what is happening, especially if the ball is played high, you're tracking back, and you don't know who's behind you. You need the keeper to give you information, clear, or give it to me, leave it to me, something like that, or challenge, stuff like that. And there's no communication, there's no leadership from Brandon Petersen, and very suspicious, man. Very, very suspicious. And the second goal that he concedes on the near post where he's standing. The last time I saw a goal like that, I think was Maicon when he scored the 2010 year against an Asian team, very weak Asian team. Brazil was playing against South Africa, and Maicon scored a very good goal. But because the keeper is very poor, on the near post where we are standing, and you are not attacking, you are not giving instructions to attack, and the ball just enters where you are standing as a keeper. It's a very bad one, very bad one. So defensively were very poor, with the exception of Ngezana. Very, very poor. Also in the second goal, where was Blom? He's not tracking back. Who's there to cover for him? I don't know who was supposed to cover for him, but it was a very bad one. Cardoso, I don't know how to speak about him. Throughout the game, there's been a lot of mistakes. The changes that were made also, I think there's positives we can take. Sekgota needs more game time, needs to be given game time. You can see that his legs are not grounded enough. He's not gravitated. He's not rooted down. His knees, and when he has the ball, it doesn't look like he's confident enough. He gives the ball so easily, but you can see that there's a good player in him. There's a very good player that needs game time. And the coming in of Osabelo Khatev, I think he did well. Tried to improve the middle of the park. The guy that made a very positive, change in the game is Patrice Nange with his forward passes. A lot of people don't like Nange. They don't, rate him. I think in terms of going forward, he's better than many of the players in Kaizer Chiefs right now. And the game improved as soon as Nange came in. Was able to pass the ball forward. Sometimes was able to take that one man in and force the issue. That's what I've always admired about him. And Dumisani Zuma came in as well. We have always pushed for Dumisani Zuma to play at Kaizer Chiefs, and it's not by mistake. Fans of Kaizer Chiefs are not that stupid. We've been, at least we might not have been have played it in the professional football and all that, but we know the game. There's a lot of people that know and understand the game, but also we know when the player is good. We know when the player is good, when the player deserves to play. Dumisani Zuma deserves to play at Kaizer Chiefs and deserves more game time. He comes in, his movements are better, scores a goal, a very good run of play. Nange as well, very central to that goal that we scored. And Billiard movement is the only guy that can move in the up front. He shoots and it is saved, and Zuma is there with a tap in. And there's another second chance that Zuma gets and it's saved by the keeper. I think those are the chances that we got, and they were all Zuma was involved in all of them. And you ask yourself, why was this guy frozen throughout the season? Why has he not been playing? And you can see that there's something wrong with the previous coach. And let me tell you, Nukovic needs to leave Kaizer Chiefs. He's not a football player, and I think he's more suited for a rugby game. For me, Nukovic is more suited for a rugby game. Every time commits a foul. Every time. I don't know of any striker that commits a foul that has more fouls than Nukovic in the entire world. Every time, whether he comes late, when he comes in for 10 minutes, in that 10 minutes, Nukovic playing will create about 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 fouls. If he plays the entire game, you can go up to double digits of fouls. Nukovic, there's lack of movement. He's late in terms of his runs. Can't time his runs, or he's too early. Always caught offside. And no, man, Nukovic, Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. Maybe it's another thing of game time. I'm not sure. But the one thing that I want to say is that there's a lot of changes that we see. We can complain and be unhappy and all that. It is well and accepted and acceptable. But there are changes that we see with others on as a game. There's some things that we see that are positive, spending more time with the ball and trying to to attack through the middle and through the lines, and hence our goals came exactly that. The goal we scored against the Stellenbosch is almost the same as the goal that we scored against the Cape Town City. It's good goals. Goals that are created through the lines. It's goals that there's passing, there's movement on the ball and off the ball, and that is what we want. That is what we want. We don't want aerial football where there's no direction, where you can't see what you're working on. But the struggles that we see today, they are very indicative of how Stuart Baxter leaves the club. Whenever Stuart Baxter leaves the team, he leaves the team that you can't use, can't do anything with it. Because Stuart Baxter plays with one team the whole season. No one else gets game time, nothing. And by the time you change the coach, you bring in someone, players are not used to playing, they're not used to the philosophy, they are not used to changing of philosophies, to changing of game plans, to changing of tactics and the way the team plays. They're just used to that football, that direct a long ball of good Baxter, counter attacks and sitting back. Players are not used to playing with the ball. Players are not used to sharing the ball and stuff like that. And others are trying to fix that, and it might be a bit late, but there are positives. There are positives. It's said that we need to accept the results as they are, and move on. Otherwise, I'm still trusting the process as far as others and Dylan Shepard is concerned. I know a lot of people are not happy. A lot of people want the results, they want the quick results, but I don't think that is what we need to focus on right now. I think we are fine in the top 8. We need that point to secure the top 8 to make sure that we don't have issues there. But I think it is not all lost and thrown in the drain. I think there's stuff that we can pick up, and we need to trust the process. Others need to be given more time, need to be given responsibilities all by himself. But defensively, we need to fix a lot of things. He needs to fix a lot of things defensively. Even the final third, he needs to fix a lot of things. Otherwise, let me hear your views on the game. Let me hear what you thought about this game. Otherwise, I'm disappointed by the results. Disappointed with the results. Dibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel, football from the fans' perspective. It is love and peace.